Today we are cooking chicken curry. This chicken curry is being cooked in the North Indian style because I'm more comfortable and I am more used to cooking it in the North Indian style. Um, there are various ways you can cook chicken curry. The main difference between North and South is the lack of coconut, the lack of poppy seeds, and more importance given to tomato in a North Indian curry. Just to name the few of the top, you know. Gonna go now. See you later. See ya, Piti. Hope you can catch the word for some tasty, tasty chicken. So that's the difference between North and South in a gist. There's a lot of minute difference as well in terms of the ingredients used. But just to simplify it, tomato is given more of an importance in the North Indian curry. There's no coconut, no use of coconut milk, or anything related to coconut. There's a lack of poppy seeds. That itself plays a huge role in the flavor that the curry ends up with. Obligatory cooking stream, Craigasm. I'm happy. I'm happy that you are happy for cooking streams. So let's introduce you to the champion of this dish. It's a chicken curry. So obviously the chicken is the champion, right? We will be needing 500 grams of boneless chicken breast that are cut into cubes, and 6 chicken drumsticks, which you can see the drumsticks there, the leg piece, which I have cut into 2 pieces. So the 6 drumsticks are cut into 12 pieces. Using bone while cooking chicken curry gives the curry a very rich flavor. When you're cooking chicken, the real flavor, the real oils from the chicken come from the bone. That's why when you're making chicken stock, or creating soup base or soup stock, you always use bones. So using bones in a curry is fantastic and gives your curry better flavor. You can use just boneless breast, but you won't get the same flavor from the curry. So, 500 grams of boneless chicken breast and 6 drumstick pieces, which are cut into 2. And this chicken has been washed in salt and turmeric. I explained the importance of washing your chicken in turmeric. It is to remove the pungent raw smell of the chicken. So you wash it with turmeric and salt, and then it's like it has this yellow coating from the turmeric. These are the chicken cubes cut into like an inch pieces, and this is the drumstick, which is cut into 2 pieces each. So one with the leg piece and one with the piece which is closer to the thigh. So the drumstick cut into 2. The first ingredient that goes into your chicken marinade. So we'll be marinating the chicken for an hour and a half before we make the curry. You need to let the chicken marinate for a minimum of 60 minutes. It would be perfect if you could let it marinate for 4 hours, but 60 minutes at minimum. So to create the chicken marinade, we'll be taking the chicken, which has been washed in turmeric and salt, of course. We'll be putting in lemon juice. What we are doing is squeezing out 2 fresh lemons. I don't worry too much about the seeds going in, but if you are bothered by the seeds, filter them out. Hey Miyuki, welcome. I hope you're having an amazing day. Nice to see you here. Chicken curry sounds tasty already. I hope you love the outcome, when this dish is served. So 2 lemons, squeeze those lemons, give your fingers some work. Working while cooking makes you hungrier and just appreciate the dish that much more. So yeah, just as much as you can put in your heart while cooking, because the more love you give your food, the tastier it is. It may sound cheesy, but it is true. So squeeze those lemons well. Coat your chicken in lemon juices first, after which we will be adding the next ingredient to this marinade, which is thick yogurts or thick curds. This has to be not flavored, so you don't need flavored curds or yogurts. Don't take like vanilla flavored or mango flavored yogurt, just take plain yogurt. You'll need about 250 milliliters of curds or yogurt. It goes in straight after the lemon. Once you add in your curds, which is 250 ml of curds, we'll move on to adding the next ingredient to this marinade. You'll add salt to taste. I would suggest around 2 teaspoons at this stage, 2.5 teaspoons. You don't need to worry about salt whenever you're marinating chicken, because a chicken curry is being cooked in onions, in tomato, in oil, and then you'll be adding water. So all of that is going to soak out the salt. So even if you have a pinch of extra salt, you can always correct it later. But don't put an excess of salt in your marinade. Two teaspoons, 2.5 teaspoons should be perfect amount quantity of salt. And then you'll be adding in the next ingredient to your marinade, which is crushed black pepper. This is just, there's no fine crushing, it's not a powder, it's just roughly crushed. You'll be adding in 2.5 to 3 teaspoons of crushed black pepper. For those of you watching live, you can use the command !recipe to get the written recipe of this dish. And those of you watching the VOD later or on YouTube, you can check the description and you'll get the link to the recipe. The next ingredient to go in after pepper is ginger garlic paste. You'll need 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. Yes, Miyuki, the recipes are for everything that we cook. All the 13 days that we cook, all 13 recipes will be on that document. So people can refer to that, then see the video for the cooking process. Once you're done adding your ginger garlic paste, you're going to massage your chicken with this marinade. Make sure to coat each and every piece. The more love you give your chicken while marinating, the tastier it's going to taste. Some recipes, when you watch me cooking biryani, you will see me massaging the chicken for 20 minutes. That's the love I put into my biryani, and that's why it tastes amazing. So make sure to coat all the chicken pieces in your marinade. Grab those bone pieces, rub the marinade in if required. And you can see that the reason I used roughly crushed pepper and not finely crushed pepper powder, I love the texture that it gives to the chicken. The pepper on the chicken is amazing. Div and biryani, Craigasm. Well, I think it would be hard for me to make because many of these ingredients I never heard before and would be hard to get here. But I look forward to the outcome. I can always suggest alternatives if you wish, Miyuki. But done deal. Thank you for being here. So this is the marinade that you'll need to set aside for an hour. The other ingredients that you would require are onions. You'll need to chop 2 large red onions into slices. Don't worry about separating the slices. You can do that once you put it into the pan, once you put it into the cookware. You will need tomato puree. Now, you can get store-bought tomato puree, but I prefer making tomato puree fresh. So I've taken around 6 large fresh tomatoes and grinded them into puree. I didn't remove the seeds. I just cut the tomatoes into 2 and put them into the grinder and pureed them. So you have fresh tomato puree. Out of 6 large tomatoes, you have this really spicy green paste which is made out of green chili and garlic. I have taken 10 whole green chilies and 15 cloves of garlic, put them in the grinder, added 1 tablespoon of water and grinded them into a fine paste. If you wish to, and if you're risky enough, taste that chili and garlic paste. If you are if you want to take the risk, all right? I could too on stream if you want later. Next, we'll be seeing the whole spices that we require for this dish. You'll require green cardamom, around 4 pods, cloves 4, cumin 2 teaspoons, Star anise. Now, these, you may have guessed why they're called star anise. This whole spice is shaped like a star, and the flavor that it gives your food is just delicious. Adding this in a curry is absolutely perfect. It's usually used in pulaus and biryanis, but I love to add it to my curry. Two star anise and two bay leaves. That's the whole spices. Then for the powdered spices, you will need 3 tablespoons of red chili powder. Do a spoonful of that. Rough. That is almost like wasabi. Let me tell you, that is almost like wasabi. I can do it if we hit the goal. If we hit the donation goal by the end of our streams, I will do a spoonful of that. Clip that and remind me when we hit our goal. So 3 teaspoons of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder. Then we have 1 teaspoon of coriander powder and 2 teaspoons of generic chicken masala. So chicken masala is a mix of ground spices. They add in various different whole spices to it. Like they take various different whole spices, ground them, and package them as a ready-made masala. You could make this fresh, but it's very easy to get a store-bought store-bought masala, and you're using just 2 teaspoons. So to use a small quantity to go through all the effort of making it on your own. Hey, Zymer Tracks, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. So you don't need to go through a whole bunch of effort to make it at home. Just, you get this chicken masala at any store you go, any Indian store you go, it'll be there. Grab a packet and you'll need 2 teaspoons of that. This is the coriander powder, 1 teaspoon. Then you will need garam masala. You will need 2 teaspoons of garam masala and kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves. You will need 2 teaspoons. Apart from all these, you will need curry leaves, around 15 curry leaves, and you will need some cashew nuts. So what you do is you take 15 cashew nuts, you break them apart with your fingers. You don't need to blend them into a paste. You don't need to crush them. You just break it apart with your fingers and soak it in warm milk, approximately 1/4 cup of warm milk. You soak the cashew nuts in really steaming warm milk, and the cashew nuts go soft by the time you need to put them into your curry. You could also blend this into a fine paste, but in my curry, I like it to not be a fine paste. These are all the ingredients that you'll be requiring. And of course, exclamation mark recipe for the written recipe. I'm taking a big karai here, which I have put on the stove top to heat. And the first ingredient that we will require is ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. We'll require ghee and some oil. I use extra virgin olive oil. You can use any oil of your choice. Hello, Slit. Welcome. In goes 2 tablespoons of ghee. Once the pan is hot, the first thing you'll be doing is putting in 2 tablespoons of ghee. I rest the spoon towards the side of my karai because it's hot and it's going to take all the stuck ghee in as well. Hope you're having a fantastic day, Slit. Thanks for the clip. If we reach the goal, I'm definitely taking in a spoonful of green chili and garlic, 100%. After your 2 tablespoons of ghee goes in, you're going to take 4 tablespoons of oil, any oil of your choice. Start heating up this ghee and oil mixture. Just woke up actually? Well, then good morning. I'm going to be a sunshine this morning, Slit, and we are going to be cooking chicken curry. Once your oil is hot, the oil and ghee mixture, we're going to add in our whole spices. And they start crackling immediately. You can hear them sizzling. Give them a mix. And you'll saute these spices for a couple of minutes. They should start emitting a really flavorful aroma within 2 minutes, and that's when we go on to the next step of our dish. Let's listen in on our spices. My sister was watching a show on Netflix while I was cooking this, so you can hear that in the background. Nonetheless, you could also hear these spices. Once the spices are done, you will know because your whole house is going to be smelling of these spices. And thankfully, these spices smell nice. So you'll have a wonderful aroma all around your house. Once the spices are done, you're going to take your chopped onions and put them in. And look, hear those onions. Hear those onions. After the onions, you put in your curry leaves. Be very careful. The curry leaves pop. They pop a lot, and the oil is going to sprinkle everywhere. Stay at a safe distance and keep sauteing. Once you've sauteed for around 30 to 40 seconds and the onions have separated, they aren't sliced together, they aren't in clumps or bunches, you're going to add in salt. Salt helps the onions brown faster, so add in your salt no more than a minute after adding in your onions. Remember that your chicken marinade has salt, so be mindful of that while adding salt to your onions. We are now going to brown these onions until they are really dark brown and crisp. So till now we have browned the onions till they have got the nice brown color and lost the translucent aspect. For this dish, for this curry, we are browning them really well. You'll get the sweet flavor of fried onions once you brown them well, and all the caramelization of the onions will be spread throughout your ghee and oil, and then will carry over to your curry. And it is just going to taste amazing if you get the onions done well. It's going to take you around 5 to 6 minutes on high heat to brown them properly. Keep stirring them occasionally, then letting them sit in the oil to brown, then again stirring them, and again letting them sit in oil to brown. The reason that you need to keep stirring it occasionally is so that the onions don't stick to the bottom of your cookware. You don't want them sticking, you want them browning, you don't want them burnt. So you stir, then you collect them in one area and let them brown in the oil, you let them fry. You can see that they are starting to caramelize, and due to the amount of ghee and oil that I have, the caramelization is just visible and not getting stuck to the bottom of my cookware. And the onions have already started losing their bright pink and going translucent, but we still have a long way to go for it to brown as much as we require for this curry. I'm going to rest it once again in the oil and let it fry for 30 to 40 seconds before I shake it up again. And see, you can now clearly see the onions have lost their bright pink color. Some of the onions have turned really nice, crisp and dark brown. We want that consistency on all our onions, so I'm just going to saute it for 30 to 40 seconds more. Get the onions that are still bright and pink into the oil. Look at them onions. They're going to be so sweet. They're going to flavor your curry so well. Once your onions are browned, we are going to add in our chili and garlic paste. It's going to sizzle because of the moisture that it has. So once again, be careful, maintain distance. Don't let the oil splatter on your hand. Oil burns are really not something you can joke about. It hurts, it stings, and if you do get splatters of oil on your hand, immediately place your hand below running cold water. Welcome back, Miyuki. We have just added in our green chili and garlic paste to our brown onions, and we are stirring them. You need to cook this garlic and chili paste for 2 minutes on high heat till the garlic's strong raw aroma disappears. So that should take approximately 2 minutes, and you'll know that your chili and garlic is cooked. In all our dishes, once our onion is brown, we add in ginger and garlic paste. For the curry, we have added ginger and garlic paste to our chicken marinade, but we still need the garlic flavor and we need the green chilies. That's why we turn the garlic and chili into paste and add it after our onions are brown. Garlic, stinky but tasty and healthy? Indeed, garlic has a lot of health benefits, and honestly, when you use it in dishes with spices and stuff, garlic smells amazing, especially the burnt garlic flavor. My favorite kind of fried rice is burnt garlic fried rice. I like its smell. My man, rough. I like its smell too. So keep stirring your chili and garlic paste along with your onions. 2 minutes on high heat is all it takes to cook the garlic and chili through. And once it's cooked, we're going to add in our fresh tomato puree. That's the puree of 6 tomatoes. 6 tomatoes were murdered in the making of this chicken curry. F to pay your respects to those tomatoes who now reside within my tummy and will reside within your tummy too once you cook this chicken curry. Once the tomato puree goes in, you're going to add in your whole spices, rather powdered spices, not whole spices, I'm sorry. Red chili powder, turmeric, chicken powder, and coriander powder. I mentioned the quantities earlier, and you can use the command ! Recipe for the written recipe. Hey Lana, welcome. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hello, hi Div, I'll be over for dinner. Okay, done deal. You're welcome for dinner. I'll serve you chicken curry. So your ground spices go in, your powdered spices, and you start mixing it, and you start cooking the tomatoes and the spices together for it. It should take around 8 minutes to cook your tomatoes properly on high heat. Keep stirring because you don't want your spices to burn. You need to keep stirring and making sure that your tomato is being cooked through and your spices aren't burning. The worst is if you eat something with strong garlic, you don't get the taste out of your mouth. Washing teeth and all doesn't help. I like garlic, but don't want everything I eat to taste like garlic. Very understandable, Miyuki. And for example, the 15 garlic cloves that I used in this curry, you won't even taste the direct garlic. You'll know that garlic has been added because because of the flavor, but you won't taste excess of it because of all the other spices. So it's all an act of balancing. Indian cooking relies heavily on the act of balancing all ingredients. There isn't excess of any, and everything plays well together to give that perfect taste. Recipe asked for 2 cloves of garlic. Me, okay, so the whole bulb. I have written 15 cloves of garlic for this recipe, so don't add in 15 bulbs, okay? Don't. Just 15 garlics, individual garlic pieces. Keep cooking your tomato, keep stirring it so that it doesn't burn. 8 minutes. You just need to keep stirring occasionally and making sure that your tomato is cooking well. The secret behind a good curry is always perfectly browned onions and perfectly cooked tomatoes. If the tomato is undercooked, your curry is going to be very, very sour. If the tomatoes are overcooked, there's actually nothing as overcooking a tomato, but undercooking a tomato is always bad. So don't undercook your tomato. You're going to place the lid and let the tomato cook for 5 minutes on high heat. Remove the lid and give it a good stir. Your tomatoes should be cooked by now, but give it a good stir, and then it's time for a taste check. See the positive side, 15 bulbs make sure there aren't any vampires in a 1 kilometer radius. Well, if you're scared about vampires, definitely go ahead and add 15 bulbs into your chicken curry. You can see that the oil has started separating towards the side of my cookware. So the tomatoes are done, and I'm going to take a spoon and taste check because I want to make sure that the tomatoes are cooked thoroughly. May I post links here? Hold on, Miyuki. You should be able to post a link for 30 seconds now. So I'm going to take a spoon and taste check. I want to I want to make sure that the tomato is cooked. I want to check for seasoning. I want to check for all the spices if they're in balance or not. And once I'm happy with the tomatoes being cooked and the seasoning, I'm adding in water. I add in 650 milliliters of water to my uh, tomato and onion base. And once I add in water, I'm going to stir it. I'm going to catch the stranglers on the side of my kadai and push them towards the center and let them mix into the water. Turn it up to high flame so that the water starts coming to a boil sooner, and keep stirring well. You want the base to mix well with the water that you just added. Our problem in cooking such things is to get all the ingredients. We find it's very expensive, so we have to rely on fixes. Fix is equals to German word for pre-made mixes and spices. You just have to mix it with the other ingredients and water, cook it a bit, finished, fast, easy, and mostly tasty. But surely not like the original. I do know Maggie. Maggie is a very, very famous brand here as well. But honestly, if you can't get every individual spice, you get pre-packaged curry masala. Just like how I was explaining about chicken masala, you get pre-packaged curry masala, which is it won't be as good as the original, having all the separate spices go in, but you can use it definitely. Once our water has started coming to a boil, I'm going to put in our cashew nut and milk. The crushed cashew nut and milk that we had soaked it in goes in to the dish, and you can immediately see the change of color in our curry. It goes from dark red to this golden yellow, and that's the final final color that the curry will be having as well. Maggie is just one company making these here. Ah, okay. Hearing this from you is great, so I know it comes at least close. We also have no Indian restaurants here or something where we could taste the real stuff. Don't worry, Miyuki. If you're using even the pre-made spices, you are getting a good taste, something close to the original. It's I'm not someone who is elitist saying you have to use all the original ingredients or it's not going to taste the same. There's going to be differences between what I cook and what you cook, but at the end of the day, it's the how much you enjoy what you cooked, and it doesn't need to be traditional or authentic. If you like the curry that you cook with the spices and ingredients available to you, that's perfect. Yes, I agree, cooking is an art too. Everyone does it a bit different. Everybody does it according to their taste, their family's taste. The curry that I'm cooking, there'll be 100 different ways to cook it, but this is the way I cook. And once we add in our cashew nut and milk, we are just going to keep stirring around the curry to make sure everything is mixed. It's on high heat. The water is going to start boiling soon. You can see the rich colors, the rich flavors already. This curry base can be, you can instead of using chicken, you can use vegetables. You can use meat replacements, soy, for example, paneer, cheese, cottage cheese. You can use anything except chicken. If you followed the recipe until now and you want to replace it with anything apart from meat, do it at this stage. Would like to taste yours? Ah, thank you. Just look at that delicious curry. You can see it start boiling from the center. Once it started boiling, and I'm going to just close it, add lid, let the water boil for uh, around 3 to 4 minutes, and look at that. Our curry part of this chicken curry is done. Looks good. Thank you, Lana. I appreciate it. I had Indian food for my birthday Friday. I got chana masala and vegetable biryani. First off, happy belated birthday, Lana. And chana masala is one of my dad's favorite. We make it really often at home as well. It's a fantastic dish. Vegetable biryani gets my approval as well. I'm a huge fan of chicken biryani, but vegetable biryani gets my approval as well. So it's time to taste check, and I'm like trying to scoop up the liquid with a really thin wooden spoon, and I'm like struggling with it, but I still somehow manage to get a taste check. And I check for seasoning, salt. Once I'm happy with the salt and seasoning in my curry, I add my marinated chicken. I turn up the heat and I start mixing. Are you a vegetarian, Lana? Once you add in your chicken, you keep mixing it so that the curry that you have cooked, as well as the chicken the chicken that was marinated that you just uh, poured into your dish, mix as well. Sorry. They finally admitting veg biryani. I just pulled Tack's leg saying that there's nothing called veg biryani. We just have simple to make stuff these days because it's hot outside and nobody wants to cook hot stuff in the kitchen. Miyuki, I can completely understand. India is always hovering around the temperature of 26 to 32 degrees Celsius, and cooking in the kitchen at that kind of heat, once you're done cooking, you're a sweaty mess. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not cooking this live, but I have the cooking part pre recorded. You don't want to see me as a sweaty mess. No. I hope your birthday went great, Lana, and wishing you the best for the year ahead. So I mixed up my chicken and my curry, and I let it boil on high flame for 5 minutes, and you can see it start to bubble. The chicken will take around 10 minutes to cook, a total of 10 minutes to cook, and you just let the chicken and the curry cook on high flame. You'll know when the chicken is cooked once the pieces that are on the bone start separating from the bone. I try to pick out a piece that is on the bone, and you can see that the chicken has started separating from the bone. Sorry again. So when the meat starts falling off the bone, the chicken is cooked. Yesterday we had Thai chicken, pre-made frozen food that you have to heat up in a pan, totally tasty and not much to do. You know, those pre-made foods and ready to eat stuff has improved loads within the past years, and I think they're a good quick meal whenever you need to. Sweaty panda, sweaty div. The sweat adds to the salt in the dish. Wow, Kappa. Div, give me a gym stream so I can enjoy it even more. No, rough. Which city are you from, by the way? Rambo, I'm from Mysore. So the chicken is cooked since it started falling off the bone. Once the chicken is cooked, we're going to add in the final ingredients of this dish. Of course, before adding in our final ingredients, we are going to taste check, and I get angry on my spoon here and take a proper spoon. I'm just going to check one final time for seasoning to make sure that my salt levels are fine. And once I'm happy with the seasoning, I'm adding in my garam masala and kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves. These are the last things to go into a curry or any dish that actually has garam masala and kasuri methi mentioned. Once you add in your garam masala and dried fenugreek leaves, You're going to mix them well so that they spread throughout your curry and are not present in any lumps or any particular place. Typical German stuff: potato or noodles, salt with sausage. You have to do nothing at all besides putting it on a plate. The preservatives they add in ready to eat food are poison. Actually, it depends on company to company with the ready-made, ready-to-eat stuff, and I think there's more what do you call it? The regulations are stricter outside, so I guess it works out because I know I have a couple of friends from Germany who also eat a lot of pre-made stuff because they're college students. They don't have a lot of time. It's easy to make that, and during the weekends is where they cook when they have time. If we use salt from sweat in all these dishes, imagine how much we save from not buying salt each year. Wow, wow! I can smell that through the screen. Thank you, Rambo. They're just kidding around, Miyuki. It's when we spoke about the heat. So just give the curry a good mix so that the garam masala and the kasuri methi spreads throughout. And then you're going to let the curry sort of rest on low heat for 4 to 5 minutes. We're mixing well on high heat for 2 minutes. We're going to close up our karai with the lid, and on low flame the curry is going to just rest for 4 minutes. After which I'm opening up the lid, giving it a mix again, and the curry is now ready to serve. At this point, if the curry is too thin for your liking, you can add in a bit of corn flour, say 1 tablespoon of corn flour, and give it a mix so that the curry thickens. But if you have followed the exact measurements that I have mentioned in the recipe, your curry should be proper. It shouldn't be too thin or thick. But in case you're changing it up to cook for less people or more people and such, and in case your curry has come out too thin, just add in corn flour and you can thicken it out. Look at that sauce, Craigasm. Lana, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your compliments. The curry is now ready to serve. You can just see it in all its glory. And here it is. Hello, Hunter. Here it is. The curry served. You can eat this with naan. You can eat this with any other kind of bread. You can eat this with rice. Juicy pieces of chicken along with amazing, delicious curry. Chicken curry now served.